While smallpox devastated 11th century Japan, a boy named Yosoji consulted a mystic to find a cure for his infected mother. The mystic said a stream's water beside a shrine near Mount Fuji would heal her. Yosoji hurried to Mount Fuji, but the path became 3. Anxiety gripped the youngster as he scanned the trails. A young woman in white emerged from the forest. Yosoji begged her to help him find the stream that'd save his mother. She guided him to the river, instructed him to drink the water, fill his gourd and give it to his mother and their village, then return in 3 days. Yosoji did so, and after 5 visits, his mother and their village was healed. Everyone praised Yosoji, but he refused to take credit. He shared his story of the healing water and where to find it, then insisted the mystic and woman in white were the ones who should be praised. But not knowing the woman's name troubled the youngster. He returned to the stream. She was not there, and the stream was dry. He prayed to see her, and she appeared. He asked her name to rightfully give her credit for saving everyone. She smiled and waved a camellia branch. A cloud from Mount Fuji swooped and picked her up. She tossed the branch to Yosoji as she flew to Mount Fuji. She was Japan's cherry blossom princess of volcanoes and Mount Fuji, Konohanasakuya-Hime. And this is Legends from the Pacific. Aloha, and thank you for joining us. This is Legends from the Pacific, episode 120, Japan's cherry blossom princess of volcanoes and Mount Fuji, Konohanasakuya-Hime. I am Kamuwela Kaneshiro, a native Hawaiian professional writer, speaker, and Comic-Con panelist with extensive film and television experience. I study mythology, I've encountered unusual things, and I'm a geek. Our ebook, Legends from the Pacific Book 1, is now available on Amazon. These are variations from our stories from episode 1 through 50, so support our show and click the link in our show notes to purchase your copy today. Later in this episode, your featured song in Hawaiian word, but first, let me share with you Japan's volcano goddess. As usual, I apologize for any mispronounced names or words and appreciate your understanding. While also known by the name Senjin, Konohanasakuya-Hime is Japan's goddess of volcanoes and Mount Fuji. She is beautiful as cherry blossoms, or sakura, which are also her symbol. Her name roughly translates to cherry blossom tree blooming princess, or lady of high birth. Her shrines populate Mount Fuji, and it is believed keeping her happy will prevent Mount Fuji from erupting. Though some shrines were destroyed by eruptions, so I guess someone dropped the ball. Her father was Oyama Tsumi, god of mountains, the ocean, and war, while her older sister, Iwanaga Hime, was the goddess of rocks. Rocks? Really? I know. What kind of goddess is that, right? But you should know by now you shouldn't be so quick to judge things shared on our show. Ninigi no Mikoto, grandson of the sun goddess, was infatuated with the beautiful Konohanasakuya-Hime. Ninigi met with Konohana's father, Oyama Tsumi, to marry his daughter. The old god was pleased with Ninigi joining his family and gave him the cherry blossom princess, along with her older sister, Iwanaga Hime. The stone goddess horrified Ninigi, and he returned her to her father. The old god was insulted and cursed Ninigi's offspring and mortals to fleeting lifespans like the cherry blossom. After their wedding, Ninigi woke. His wife, the cherry blossom princess, was pregnant. Ninigi was perplexed. This happened after one night and questioned her faithfulness. The volcano goddess's eyes glowed. If these are your children, No harm shall come of them. She entered a small hut. Smoke rose from the structure. Flames shot from the ceiling. Ninigi screamed as fire devoured the dwelling. The volcano goddess emerged from the ruin with 3 unscathed babies. Do you know who the Hawaiian volcano god was before Pele? Or who the Hawaiian god of poison was? Become a Legends from the Pacific Patreon supporter to hear these rare stories, enjoy early access to our episodes, and other nifty benefits. So click the link in our show notes and become a Legends from the Pacific Patreon member today. As always, a big mahalo nui loa to our current Patreon members, whose support keeps our show going. Just a reminder that our show is now released on Wednesdays instead of Sunday, but I'm doing my best to have new episodes for our Patreon members before the weekend. So the connection with Ninigi's offspring and all beings have a fleeting lifespan is supposed to explain humans' mortality. Also, Ninigi and Konohana were the ancestors of Japan's first emperor, which made him and his descendants connected to the gods. Neat. The separate hut in our closing story might seem odd, but it was believed these temporary structures were constructed and broken down or burned to prevent contaminating the family's main dwelling by housing the recently deceased or women experiencing menstruation or childbirth. Because Konohana gave birth in a burning hut, she's been linked with the goddess of easy childbirth, though that's a different deity, but that's a story for another time. Today, Konohanasakuya-Hime is seen in various media, but she is perhaps most popular during Japan's Cherry Blossom Festival, which occurs between March and April. In 1992, Japan's Cherry Blossom Association declared March 27th Cherry Blossom Day, or Sakura no Hi. While there are a few cherry blossom trees believed to be over 2,000 years old, cherry blossoms only last a couple of weeks. Because of this, the season is a few weeks long, but was vital for farmers to know so they could plant their crops. During Cherry Blossom Festival, businesses feature cherry-flavored foods and drinks. While cherry blossoms are edible, they don't taste like cherry. So what'd we learn? Well, there's a lot to unpack here. I mean, first and foremost, don't be so harsh with women because of their appearance. I know it's a story, a different time, and blah blah blah, but talk about being cruel. Plus, what a sucky way for us to lose out on immortality. Unfortunately, this is not the only time men mistreated women and costed the rest of us a chance to live forever. But I digress. I enjoyed Konohanasakuya-Hime's connection with spring, and maybe you'll now see cherry blossoms in a new light. If you like what you heard, please give us a rating and write a review. I'd really appreciate it. Our theme song is Mystery by Tavana, courtesy of High Sessions. Sound effects are by Sound Effects Factory. Our music coordinator is Matt Duffy, aka DJ TripleBypass. Links and show notes can be found on our website, legendsfromthepacific.com, including a link to your featured song, which is Bora Bora Sunset by Taimane, courtesy of High Sessions. Legends from the Pacific was written, produced, and edited by me, Kamuela Kaneshiro. I also wrote our original stories. Your featured Hawaiian word is kupu lau. Ha! Now, this one is tricky because kupu lau is sometimes used for the season of spring. I say sometimes used because officially we don't have a word for spring. Why am I even mentioning this word? Well, part of including these words is to educate you on the Hawaiian language. Also, many ask what's the Hawaiian word for spring. So, a sort of example where kupu lau is sometimes used is kupu lau is when Easter is celebrated, along with many allergies. Once again, kupu lau was sometimes used as the word for the season of spring. That's a lot of stuff just to say there's no Hawaiian word for spring. But at least you know, and knowing is half the battle. Thank you once again for listening. Mahalo and a hui ho!